So, very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Mindfulness at Lunch on Monday. And it's a lovely Monday. The sky is clear. Maybe it's a little bit gray, but nevertheless, it's still a lovely day. And what's important is how we feel in here. Do we feel like, wow, I am glad to be alive? And yes, there are problems around me, but so be it. Who doesn't have problems? So it's not to make a big deal of our problems. But having said that, some of us may be feeling a bit anxious because we are creating some narratives in our mind that's causing us to worry. And in mindfulness is having the awareness of this going on in our mind. By being aware, then we can actually do some positive intervention to reduce the anxiety. So the anxiety may not disappear completely, and it's okay. But we can at least reduce the amount of anxiety to clear up our mind. And this way, our mind is able to be more focused on finding solutions or a different way of responding to the situation. When our mind is cluttered, we tend to have more sensations of anxiety as the mind goes into a worrying mode. It's so full of these thoughts that are worrying in nature that we can no longer have the space in our mind to even figure out things creatively and to have the openness in the mind to consider all the options that are available. So I'm going to now share with you a distress management technique or a trauma management technique. Trauma doesn't have to be something that is very massive. Trauma is actually another word for distress. And distress can happen when we are separated from someone or something that we are very attached to. That means we value a lot. Sometimes it's our job. Sometimes it's a person, or it could just be an item that we have lost that we put a lot of value on it, and that may cause us a lot of distress. And the stress is coming from the mind that is catastrophizing over the loss or over the situation, that the mind just can't or refuse to accept that this has occurred. Okay, so in anxiety, we may be feeling shortness of breath or very rapid breathing. And so we're going to use our hands as well to help us to focus our mind on the movement of the hands, which are synchronized with our breathing. So first of all, I'd just like you to hold your hands up and just move it. And now synchronize the hand movement with the breath. And you find that its own way. When you breathe in, your hands close, and you breathe out, your hands open. You can close your eyes and do this. Notice how your hands open as you exhale. And as you inhale, your hands come close together. Now focusing on the movement of your hands. Allow the body to breathe naturally. And you're just focusing on the movement of your hands. And you will discover that as your breathing becomes more relaxed, the movement of your hands change. And the hands open less wide. And when your breathing becomes so smooth and subtle as your body relaxes, the movement of your hands reflect that. And they move less and less far apart. They become closer and closer together. And when your breath becomes so subtle, you can place your hands on your lap. Now just watch your breath. Notice how smooth the breathing is. If a thought pops into your mind and causes you to feel anxious, you can always bring your hands up again and just focus on the hands movement that would synchronize with your breath. So your hand movement synchronizes with your breathing. Hands become less and less far apart, and the movement of your hands slow down. Your breathing has become very subtle, and your body has become relaxed. And you can just place your hands again on your lap and just hang out with your beautiful breath. Notice how your mind is calm, your breathing is calm, your body is relaxed, and there are not many thoughts in the mind, or no thoughts. And when you notice thoughts popping up, let them be. That means you can actually notice a thought arising and then a thought disappearing. Should a thought that comes up causes you to worry or making you feel uncomfortable, just bring your hands up again and just let the hands emulate the rate of your breathing and focusing on the movement of your hands. And when the hands become slow and close together, place them back on your lap and just come back to the beautiful breath. Your body knows how to do the breathing. You just need to focus on where you feel the breath and just hang out with the breath and feeling a sense of gratitude that your body is alive. So long you are breathing, there's more right than wrong in your life. Just notice how your body feels, how your breath is feeling in your body. And open your eyes when you're ready. So how was that for you? Love to hear from you. So please put in the chat. Thank you. Relaxing. Very refreshing. Good. Calming. Fantastic. Now I'd like to share with you a technique. In the event that you are having a conversation with someone and you start to notice your body feeling anxious or uncomfortable, or you may be seated in a meeting or attending a meeting over Zoom and you can feel your heart pounding and your anger rising. That means the heat or the temperature in your body increasing, and you may not be able to pick up your hand and do this. Or actually through Zoom you can, right? Because you can put it under the camera, like I'm moving my hands now and you can't see, and you can just do it. But if you happen to be in the presence of someone and you're not going to lift your hands up and do this, notice your hand, especially your dominant hand. It is probably clenched. And then open your hand as you breathe out. Close your hand as you breathe in. Now just follow your hand movement. Try it now. So when you breathe out, open your hand. When you breathe in, close your hand. So focusing on your hand as it's moving, it will synchronize with your breath. And that will help you to dissolve the emotion that you may be drowning in, whether it's anxiety or anger. So when you are focusing on your fingers moving in this way, your mind stops all the narratives that are fueling the emotion. So maybe when you're talking to your spouse or your child and this person is agitating you, focus on the movement in your hand and synchronize with your breath. And this is a very powerful technique to regulate your emotion. Because when you are less angry or less anxious, you're more present to focus on what the issue is, instead of the mind just getting you into a state of wanting to retaliate and saying sometimes very hurtful things, or seizing in fear, feeling unable to respond. So these techniques are very powerful, and I hope that you will apply it on a daily basis if you are feeling emotional at different points in the day. Okay,